Imagine waking up in a bathtub filled with ice. Your vision is blurry. You're shivering. There's a searing pain in your side. And then, you see it. A note taped to the mirror that says, "Call 911 or you will die." This is the Kidney Heist, one of the most chilling and persistent urban legends of the last 50 years. A tale so convincing, so terrifying, that it's been passed from friend to friend, whispered in hostels, emailed to coworkers, and shared by travelers across continents. But where did it come from? Why do people still believe it? And could there be a grain of truth buried beneath the myth? Let's take a closer look. In its classic form, the legend goes like this. A businessman, often traveling alone, meets a beautiful stranger in a bar, maybe in Las Vegas, Bangkok, or Mexico City. They flirt. They drink. He wakes up the next morning in a hotel bathroom, submerged in ice. He's groggy, weak. Then he sees the note, "Call 911. When he's finally rushed to the hospital, doctors discover that one of his kidneys is missing, surgically removed, clean incision, gone. And the organ, presumably sold on the black market, to some wealthy patient willing to pay anything for a second chance at life. It sounds like something out of a horror movie. But for decades, people have told this story as if it really happened. The kidney heist legend first began to circulate in the late 1980s and early 1990s. At the time, email was just becoming mainstream, and the internet was a wild west of rumors, warnings, and forwarded true stories. The earliest versions came through fax machines and email chains, usually beginning with "this happened to a friend of a friend." One of the most widely circulated hoaxes came from a supposed medical professional in New Orleans. It told of a man who had woken up in a tub of ice after a one-night stand. The email even included names of hospitals and fake quotes from doctors. But there was one problem. None of it ever happened. Police departments found no evidence. Hospitals denied any involvement. And no actual victim ever came forward. Still, the story spread like wildfire. So why does a story with no proof have such staying power? Folklorist Jan Harold Brunvand, who's written extensively about urban legends, had this to say: "The power of this story lies not in whether it ever happened, it hasn't, but in the fact that people think it could. It strikes a nerve about trust, vulnerability, and the commodification of the human body. Think about it. The kidney heist taps into some of our deepest fears. Being alone in an unfamiliar place, losing control of our bodies, being exploited by strangers, becoming just a resource. It's not just a story. It's a mirror reflecting our modern anxieties." Now here's the twist. While the classic version of the kidney heist is fiction, real-world organ trafficking does exist. In 2008, Indian authorities uncovered a massive illegal kidney trade operating out of Gurgaon, where impoverished laborers were tricked or forced into giving up their organs. The ringleader? A real doctor. In China, human rights organizations have reported organ harvesting from political prisoners and persecuted groups like the Falun Gong. Though controversial, these reports sparked outrage and international investigations. So, while no one is waking up in bathtubs, the underlying fear, the idea that the human body can be exploited for profit, is not so far-fetched. That's what makes the legend so powerful. It feels true because in some ways, it is. The kidney heist has evolved with technology. In the early 2000s, it became a favorite topic on Snopes.com, where it was debunked repeatedly. Later, it resurfaced on forums like Reddit's r/nosleep and r/creepypasta, told in haunting first-person narratives. Some claimed to have been victims. Others simply wanted to scare their readers. And then came YouTube and TikTok. On TikTok, creators dramatized the story in short, chilling videos. On YouTube, it's retold as true crime, as satire, and as cautionary tale. The legend has become a kind of modern campfire story, reshaped for each new generation. So what's really going on here? Psychologists say the kidney heist is about bodily autonomy and trust. It's a story about what happens when you let your guard down, when you let someone close, and they take something from you, literally. Jungian analysts might say the story represents a fear of the shadow self, the dark, unconscious forces that control us when we're asleep, drunk, or vulnerable. Others say it's about the fear of being reduced, turned into parts, into meat, into something to be sold. Whatever your interpretation, the emotional power is undeniable. Today, the kidney heist lives on not as a real threat, but as a symbolic one. It's been parodied on The Simpsons, referenced on South Park, and used in horror movies like Turistas and Hostel. It appears in travel blogs, dark comedy merch, and even Halloween costumes. And whenever someone travels alone, drinks too much, or meets a mysterious stranger, someone will inevitably say, "Be careful. Don't wake up in a bathtub full of ice." So no, there's no evidence this story ever really happened. But that doesn't make it harmless. The kidney heist is a legend that holds up a mirror to our fears about trust, travel, and the body as currency. It may not be real, but in a world where the line between fiction and fear is razor thin, it doesn't have to be.